Well, welcome to the October 6th meeting of the City of Roseville Parks and Recreation Commission. But before we begin tonight, I want to take a moment to honor the life and legacy of both former Mayor Harry Crabb and former Commissioner Audrey Husking. Harry dedicated nearly 25 years of his life to serving the City of Roseville, both on the council and through regional leadership positions. He served as our mayor multiple times from 1980 to 82, 84 to 85, 95 to 96, and then again from 1998 to 2000. In each of those terms, he brought steady leadership and a clear vision for the City of Roseville's future. Audrey Husking's dedication to the City of Roseville spanned more than 4 decades and was a member of 3 different commissions, including our Parks and Recreation Commission. In honor of their legacy, Harry and Audrey's efforts, there are 2 parks named in their honor. On behalf of the City of Roseville Park and Recreation Commission, I would like to extend our heartfelt condolences to their families and their friends. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order, and let's have roll call.
Nick Alexander.
Here?
Olive Bailey.
Here.
Jason Blessinger.
Here.
Renee Borowiak.
Here.
Kevin Hernandez.
Here.
Sandra Pollock-Cushing.
Here.
Regina Suchek. And Jeff Short.
Here. All right, next on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Renee, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4 on the agenda are public comments, and I'd like to ask the secretary to please read the procedures for public comments.
Citizens addressing the commission during public comment are asked to approach the podium and are limited to 3 minutes unless extended by the chair, and must be regarding items that are not listed on the agenda and are within the city's jurisdiction. The Brown Act does not permit any action or discussion on items not listed on the agenda. No action will be taken on items addressed under public comments.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 5.1, the approval of minutes of the meeting.
Chair, we have to open up public comment.
Thank you. Are there any public comments?
I have a quick question, though. Can we ask?
Please approach the podium. Name and address for the record, please.
Margarita Reynoso, 6313 Shimmer Falls Drive, Roseville, you don't need the zip code. Can we address a specific item on the agenda, or can we wait, or do we?
Not at this time. When the
Okay,
agenda,
that's
that
what-
item comes up, then you can have time to
That's
talk about
all
it
the
at that time.
clarification I needed.
All right, any comment, any other public comments? All right, hearing none, I'm going to close public comments. And at this time, I'd like to review the minutes of the meeting held on August 6th.
I'll make
August
a
4th.
motion to approve.
Sir?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, okay.
From August.
I guess there are no comments on the minutes. So we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, the next item on the agenda is 5.2, the park naming recommendations from staff. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Tara G., your Park Planning and Development Manager. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to present the park name recommendations for 4 new parks this year. As background, on an annual basis, each July, park name suggestions are solicited for new parks that will enter into the construction phase of development within that same fiscal year. The name suggestion period is open for 1 month. A park naming subcommittee made up of the Parks and Recreation and Libraries Director, the Park Planning and Development Manager, a Park Development Project Manager, a Park Superintendent or Manager, a PRL staff member at large, and a staff member from the Development Services Department make up the subcommittee. With the exception of the director and myself, the committee members will serve 2-year terms. In 2025, We opened the naming suggestion period in July, and again, for 4 new parks that we were seeking suggestions for. The name suggestion period closed on July 31st. The parks subject to be named will begin construction in the spring of 2026. 25 suggestions were submitted this year. Typically, names suggested in the previous year are eligible for consideration. In 2024, ironically, 25 names were suggested as well, and for those not chosen at that time, those names were considered active and available for consideration this year. The map shows the locations of 3 of the parks which are located within the Sierra Vista Plan area. These are shown in the yellow stars and include FD50, a 1.7-acre neighborhood park, JM51, a 2.6-acre neighborhood park, and JM52, a 1.5-acre neighborhood park. This map shows the other, or the 4th park to be named, and it's within the Campus Oaks Plan area. This is CO61, a 6-acre neighborhood park immediately south of the recently opened Crimson Ridge and Campus Oaks parks. Before we discuss the actual recommendations from the naming subcommittee, I wanted to comment on the submissions that involved individuals. As you may have noted, there are a number of individual names that were suggested to be honored with the name of a park. All have made great volunteer contributions to the community through various Roseville and regional organizations. So much so that the limited number of parks for naming, it was difficult for the subcommittee to pick one over another. This by no means should diminish the great contributions each person has made through the course of years. We greatly appreciate every contribution made towards the betterment of the community of Roseville. We should also note that the park naming policy allows the naming subcommittee to have the discretion to suggest or recommend names that are geographically located. And as a reminder, those names that remain that names not chosen will remain available for consideration next year for parks to be named at that time. So as we move on, FD50, the neighborhood 1.7-acre neighborhood park, is located again in the Sierra Vista Plan area. The streets surrounding the park are Starfield Drive, Nova Place, Mercury Lane, Supernova Lane, and Wandering Star. The park will have a children's play area, picnic area, walkways, turf, and landscaping. There's a potential for expanded turf grass, shade at the play and picnic areas, and a half court for basketball, should budget allow. The subcommittee recommends that this park be named Interstellar Park, which recognizes the series of streets at and surrounding the park. JM51, this is a 2.6-acre park located also in the Sierra Vista area at Lake Haven and Shimmer Falls. This is located within the Monument subdivision. Plans for this site include a multi-use field, a children's play area, a picnic area, a looped walkway, and landscaping. A half court for basketball and expanded turf grass areas could be included should budget allow. The subcommittee recommends naming this park Monument Park, which recognizes the subdivision for which this park is located. JM52, this is a 1.5-acre neighborhood park site. It's located also in the Sierra Vista Plan area. The park backs onto open space and is on the corner of Misty Ridge Drive and Bright Star Road. The park will include a small turf grass area, a small children's play area, and a picnic pavilion. The site also includes trees, natural trails, and a link to a future bike trail. An expanded turf area and an exercise pod may potentially be included should budget allow. The adjacent open space is a foraging ground for various species of hawks and other birds. The subcommittee recommends that this park be named Hawks Landing, recognizing the interpretive opportunity to educate residents about the different types of hawks in the area and their foraging habitats. If this is the final approved name, we will add an interpretive sign at the park and also add hawk poles in the adjacent open space. Lastly, CO61. This is a 6-acre park site and is located in the Campus Oaks Plan area. The park is located on Ashbrook Street near Kingsbridge Lane. This park also backs onto open space. The design of this park site includes multi-use turf grass areas, a children's play area with shade, a picnic area, pathways, and natural trails. The construction might include a half-court for basketball, an expanded turf grass area, and a bike trail connection, should budget allow. The subcommittee recommends naming this park Ashbrook Park, which recognizes the street name for which the park is located. Lastly, staff presented a desire to rename the Children's Arts Center that is located within Royer Park. The building has been closed for the past decade or more, and renovations are currently underway. These upgrades include new interior paint, new flooring, ADA code improvements, the temporary closing off of the stage for storage, and new flooring. As we prepare to open the facility again, new opportunities to expand the culture and arts programs are available, and rentals for meetings and small events are some of the expanded uses being considered. Using the existing name shares a limited vision of what the space could be. In light of this, the subcommittee recommends that the Children's Arts Center be renamed the Arts Center at Royer Park. To summarize this item on the agenda, the action tonight is to approve the name recommendations submitted by the Park Naming Subcommittee and forward these on to the City Council for formal approval. This concludes my presentation, and I stand ready to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Tara. Commissioners have any questions of staff? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to open this item to the public for comment. And again, step to the podium and please state your name and address for the record.
Margarita Reynoso, 6313 Shimmer Falls Drive. I'm talking about the GAM 51. And you, sir, said that you were going to check into it to see what the status was of the park. And we were here at the last meeting in August, and I am wanting to know what you've done to look into that, because we were told that that park would start in 2025, and now it's 2026 in the spring. We have gotten absolutely zero updates from anybody regarding this park. We've gotten nothing. And I find it interesting that Parks and Recreation spends 53% of their budget on staff. And now everything else that we might get is if budget allows. So, sir, what have you done to look into it as you promised last meeting?
And we did look into it, and there's a name recommendation on the agenda tonight.
That's not the status of the park, sir. That's just a name.
That's the next step, ma'am.
So what have you looked into?
It's the next step in the process of developing a
So
park.
the answer is you have not looked into it.
Not with regard to improvements, no.
So when might you look into that as promised on August 4th?
Staff get back to you. I can't tell you the exact.
But you're, sir, the one who promised
Excuse me,
it.
ma'am, I can't tell you the exact timetable on that, but we'll have staff get back to you with the timetable, the anticipated timetable.
So basically, you have not looked into it, correct?
No, it's not correct.
Not the name, the actual building.
Not
of it.
correct, ma'am. No, that's not correct.
You said you would personally look into it.
We have
Did
looked
you?
into it. The next step is the name of the park, and which is on the agenda tonight.
You're using "we." Did you, sir, look into the park? As promised.
Ma'am, I told you already, and that I'm going to end this conversation right now, okay?
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Ed Smith, and I'm a chairman of a committee that was tasked to prepare and submit a park naming application in honor of Bernie Milmo, and that application was submitted this past July. I would like to acknowledge that Bernie and Arlene are with us here at the chambers, as well as Susan Giles, who helped us prepare the application. It's my understanding that the Parks and Rec Commission Subcommittee has recommended the park namings for the 4 parks for approval by the commission, and we note that the Milmo application was not on the approved list. And we offer no criticisms of the subcommittee because we were not privy to the 50 applications that were submitted for just 4 park sites, and we understand the difficulty in having to review so many applications. But I do believe that the commission does have the authority to add a park naming to the list. It's my understanding that there can be up to 3 park namings per park site, and that's what we're asking the commissioners to consider doing tonight, if you're considering that, if you would consider that. Basically, I know I have limited time, but I just wanted to touch upon a couple things about the application and focus primarily on the Christmas holiday food basket program, which is featured in the application. And you might ask, well, what's the big deal about delivering a box of food to someone who's needy during the holiday season? And I just wanted to explain a little more detail about that. You know, we have a box of food, or in this case, 1,000 boxes of food, and it does require money to buy all of that food. And Bernie Milmo, every year, year in and year out, approaches people, and we get donations from many individuals in our community. We get donations from many of our businesses in the community, and we approach other service organizations, the Lions, Rotary, Seroptimus, Kiwanis, and others. And each of these organizations dutifully contribute every year to allow us to buy that food. So this is all non-public monies for that. And in addition to just getting the food, buying the food, you might ask, well, how is it that this food is put in these boxes and delivered to the homes where the needy people live? And that the answer to that is that we work with hundreds of volunteers in the community every year, people who volunteer their time to assemble these boxes. Many of them are kids and teenagers who are learning values of service, and their parents, and so it takes so many people for this to work. But Bernie has been involved in inviting people to participate. In fact, every year we send out this thing called Santa Needs Helpers, and we're asking all kinds of people to be part-time sleigh drivers to deliver the food, and of course the kids and adults that put the food in these boxes. Now, another interesting aspect is, Bernie tries to stretch the contribution dollars so that as much money as possible is used to buy the food. And so he negotiates with various food vendors, the food bank and others, to get really good value for the food that is purchased. And that is important. And he has a really good relationship with businesses and food vendors in our area. He also works to get the venue, which is usually a large building, a warehouse, donated every year, so that is not a cost. And examples would include different businesses in town over the years. The distribution site was at the Roseville High School cafeteria, and we've had it at Jones Hall at the fairgrounds. We've had it at the food bank facility off of Industrial, and in recent years at a local church warehouse off of Foothills that has provided their facility free of charge. So we really focus on maximizing the contributions to buy as much food as possible. Now, the other interesting aspect is, well, so you have the food, you have the delivery people, but how do you know who to deliver these boxes to? How do you find the needy people who is deserving of this food? And again, Bernie's involved in working with our schools talking with teachers and other staff to find names of people. He's involved in going to our churches and giving names of church members who need food, and just people in the community who need help. He's really involved in finding those people. Also with the county for social services, they provide names as well. So it takes a lot of time and effort and skills to make this project, this annual project that's been in place for over 30 years. And Bernie helps make this happen. Of course, it couldn't happen without all the support of hundreds of volunteers and people in our community. But it is really a terrific, I think, a legacy of the city of Roseville. It not only helps the needy people who it's nice to have a week's worth of food during the week of Christmas, but it also gives the people in Roseville who are more fortunate the opportunity to give something back during the holiday season to promote what is the true spirit of Christmas. And so we're very proud of the many accomplishments of Bernie Milmo that's in the application, and we ask that the council, or excuse me, the commissioners consider adding the Milmo Parks application to the list so that the city council can consider that. And I want to thank you again for your time. Are there any questions I can answer of you?
Questions of the commission?
And if
Thank you.
not,
Thank you for your
your
comments.
time and consideration.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to address the commission on park naming?
Hi, my name's Judd Riggs. I'm a resident of Carmichael, 1885 Claremont Road, Carmichael. I am here to speak on, well, actually was here prior to speak on behalf of naming a park after Michael Ziegler, who was really the spark plug for the growth of Pride Industries from a wood shop 35 years ago to the largest employer of people with disabilities in America, a gem in the region. And I guess, so I did that before, hoped that it would be here, understood 50 names, and we probably all think that we've got great reasons for the names. I'm curious, those are quite like interesting park names. Is that the new policy? Is that what will be done in the future? Like things like Interstellar, and without being demeaning, but that one stuck out?
I will just respond that Interstellar was a submitted park name from the public as well, so it was just another of our considerations.
So will parks be named after people in the future, or do you think not? Is that, or is it, you can't tell, or?
No, obviously, every name that's submitted is considered. I would never say that we would not name future parks after people.
Sort of look like it after tonight, although I haven't been attending these meetings.
As we mentioned, I remember that you at the
Right,
last
Nick,
meeting.
yeah.
And Mike did make the list on the submissions. So, and again, it's for the commission here to consider the names. So,
And then you guys recommend to the city council? Is that what happens? And then is there further discussion at city council meeting?
yes.
Or- Okay,
Yeah, city council has the final say.
great, okay, good, thank you.
All right. Commissioners have any, or anybody else in the public, pardon me?
So I won't belabor the same message that my colleague just said, but I do not envy you guys having to go through that list of 50 people with individuals in attendance that probably warrant consideration. One of the things that stood out to me was the process, as I understood it, you guys could recommend up to 3 names per park. I'm curious why only one was for each of the open parks.
Certainly, we submit all the names to all the commission as well as to all the council who have the discretion to select other names. The preference is to at least give them one recommendation, so it just makes it a little cleaner to recommend a set of names for the parks that are being considered.
Okay, and I understand it's at their discretion whether they accept it or not. I think it creates greater flexibility on other names that would be considered. I mean, I don't know if you have to do 3 for each, but maybe a couple extra. Again, not advocating necessarily one over the other, because again, I saw the list of 25 and 25 for this year. Just being consistent with kind of what process would be helpful. And then there's a lot of opportunity for the council and also the commission to decide these are great names, but perhaps one of these other ones could be considered. So just was looking for clarification. Thank you. And if I understood correctly, these names are in place for up to a year, or is there a longer than period of time?
1 year after
year.
it's been suggested, so it's considered 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. And then from that point, you would have to resubmit?
Submit,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
Hi, I'm Mary Grattan Perez. I live at 6305 Shimmer Falls Drive. I have a question. I thought that these parks were supposed to be named after people. I think it's in the documentation online, like this gentleman and these gentlemen have someone that they should have instead of Hawks, Monument, and Interstellar. I thought it had to be named after someone who had done something for the Roseville community or outer line areas.
Not necessarily.
Okay, because I'm almost positive I've read that.
Not necessarily. I mean, it's up, again, the council has a discretion to name the park after any way they want. You know, these are just recommendations here.
So these are not set?
No. They're just
As the park-
recommendations.
As are the parks, not
Yeah.
built.
Yeah, there's.
You know, the park should be built, then name it. I mean, I could, name it Park A, anything, but I read it, and I know I read it, that it's in the documentation. Should be named, like there's one up off of Fittement, and it's named after a gentleman, I think that was, he wasn't a policeman, but he worked for the police department, volunteer. I think he passed away. That park was up before those homes were built. And it was named after him, and that is, because we followed everything that's on the Parks and Rec website. We were over 75% occupied. Those homes have been there 10 years, and there's no park. I didn't invite you all over for coffee to go to the park, but it's straw, and it has been for 10 years. And it's very disappointing to the people of Roseville.
I'm going to give you another example. There's Sculpture Park in the Northeast Plan. That's named after the monument.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I
Well,
talked about
what I'm
that,
saying
you know.
is that.
It's not a great
is
one.
that the council has a discretion to name a park any way they want. And it's
Okay.
up to the council. I mean,
Okay.
we just make recommendations.
I'm going to look up that documentation again, because I know I read it.
I have it here, and I'm happy to read the criteria. So the criteria for the naming of a park is recognition of a nearby prominent geographical location, street names, subdivision names, or adjacent school names, recognition of a significant natural or geological feature in the area, recognition of outstanding features of the park or facility, recognition of the historical or cultural significance of an area, and recognition of significant individuals within the community. The criteria for that is they've contributed significant amount of land or funding toward a park. The person has made significant volunteer contributions to the city of Roseville community for the residents' quality of life, or the person is deceased and is being recognized for the substantial volunteer contributions to the quality of life in Roseville. And lastly, the person died in the line of duty in city service.
Thank you, Tara.
Okay, well, I get the Hawks one. I don't get the interstitial, where there's no monument where we are, just weeds. It has been for 10 years, and it's a big disappointment to the people of Roseville.
Very well. Any other comments from the public? Hearing none, I'm going to close the public comments and bring it back to the commission. Do the commissioners have any comments?
I'm happy to start. I tend to agree with a lot of what we've heard here tonight. I think that the position that the staff on the Park Naming Committee is put in is probably an unfair and impossible one. Candidly, I'm not sure that a subcommittee made up of solely city staff is appropriate to make a decision when the community submits names of volunteers, of, people who've made the ultimate sacrifice, of business leaders, of, people who made great contributions to our schools. I'm not sure that that's the right role for city staff. But I do think that, in my line of work, working in the residential development world, I'm asked a lot, especially when it comes to Roseville, about whether I'm concerned as someone who grew up in this area, but who lives out on, the west, the new side, if I'm concerned about keeping Roseville the way that it is, or whether things are going to change as these people move in, from the Bay Area or whatever. And I'm not concerned about that. To be honest, I think people choose to move to Roseville for a reason, but I do think that we should be proactive in keeping our history alive. And I think a great way to do that is by looking at the great people that have made Roseville the city that it is, and finding a system that we can use to make these hard choices about which people, can and should be honored and in which way. I agree that naming parks after people isn't the only way to keep memories alive, but one of the unique things about these parks is when we do name it after a person, and not always when we do that, but always when we name it after a person, we have that plaque there that explains what their contributions were. I've certainly learned a lot about the history of Roseville just because my kids have, flag football practice at Stizzo Park, and I got to read about who that was and why we would choose to name a park after them, and there are examples like that all over the city, and so I think for those reasons, I think if the question before us today is simply whether to approve or reject these recommendations, I think I'm going to vote to reject at least the 4 parks. As kind of a side note to what I think will be the main conversation tonight, I have no objection to the renaming of the Art Center, but I would ask if, probably not at the same scale, but as to whether we had looked into whether that might be a sponsorship opportunity similar to the Placer Valley Soccer Complex. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Commissioner Short here on what he just said. Having not been born and raised in Roseville, I've lived here 20 years, but I too have learned a lot of history on individuals because of park names. I think on the 2025 submissions, there was a few individuals on this list with many letters of support that I think we need to just keep in mind and look at and revisit that. I do agree about the Children's Art Center being renamed to the Art Center at Royer Park, but I also reject the 4 park names here suggested.
Renee, any comments?
Just to say what the flip side is, we do have we're coming up on close to 100 parks. So as I believe that we were trying to name them after the streets so that they were easily found and the community members knew where the parks were actually located, as opposed to them all being named after people, and then you kind of have to go on Google Maps or whatever and figure out where exactly that park is. I would be open to maybe considering having maybe there could be like a dual name, like the location, but also in honor of a person. Could that be considered? Like where it's like, so it's like would be the Ashbrook Park in dedication to so-and-so, something like that, in honor of so-and-so. So at least you're getting kind of like the geography and the person all in one.
I'll kind of go along with Jeff and Kevin, more like Kevin. I've been here about 30-plus years, so not born and raised. But it is nice seeing that history and those folks that have come before all of us that are now serving, some way to honor them. And an easy way kind of to do that would be through parks, right? And you do learn a lot about that. Your kids learn a lot about that. I would be inclined to agree with them. I think to your point, you know, if you're not from this area, or even, you know, if you live on the east side, knowing a street name is going to do you no good for a park on the west side. I'd have to Google it still, and I'd still get lost. So I don't know that that would be necessarily something that I would look at and go, well, that's the reason, you know, to name a park. I'm totally on board with the Art Center as well, but to Jeff's point, if there's a way to get it sponsored, that'd be fantastic too.
Yeah, I'd like to chime in. I thought the names weren't that bad. I thought Interstellar Park didn't make a single bit of sense, even though the names of the roads around there, that seemed like well, I have a list of 50 names, and there's a lot of people in there, and I don't want to pick one, is what it looked like. Like, I don't want to pick one over somebody else, and I know that's difficult. But I understand Hawks Landing, I understand the Monument subdivision, the area, but that one stood out to me like, didn't make much sense to me. And I understand the difficulty of naming things. But yeah, that's the only one I was going to say that didn't make much sense to me. And I felt like there were so many other names with people, especially on there, that could be put in that situation. That's my 2 cents.
I think the other comment I'd have is that we've had two parties here recommending a park name for Mr. Milmo and for Mr. Mike Ziegler. Perhaps we can forward those to the council, because these people had the wherewithal to come and address the commission. I don't know if any of the other commissioners would be in favor of that.
I wouldn't necessarily be in favor of limiting it just to the people who were available tonight. We had a lot of submissions, people that took the time.
Yeah. Well, and in addition to the others, But I think we should note that these folks are here tonight.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So,
Sorry, I just want to make a quick comment. I agree with what the other commissioners said about the names being people. I feel like I live really close to Fred Festerson, and like I've learned a lot about like him as a person, and like the names seem very just no meaning behind it, and like Monument Park or Ashbrook Park, that's just, and Interstellar Park, those are just the street names. So I feel like it doesn't really have a deep meaning behind what the people that have done for Roseville. So I would have to agree by saying we should.
you know, maybe going what Sandra just said, perhaps we can craft something that does have the location, and then perhaps honor somebody as well.
Or it could even be the name at on Ashbrook Drive or something like that, you know, just.
Any comments, Commission?
That seems overly complicated and unnecessary to me. I tend to agree with Renee. I don't know where Ashbrook Drive is, and I don't think naming the park after Ashbrook Drive makes sense or would help in that regard. Maybe insert, and to be clear, I'm not saying that all parks have to be named after people. For instance, I am thrilled that the park next to the Riego Creek School is named Riego Creek Park, because I live near Orchard Ranch Park, and I've said this in this setting before. I can't for the life of me remember what that park is called. We all call it Orchard Ranch Park in the neighborhood. So I think that there are plenty of examples that we could think of where I think Monument Park that you brought up earlier, Mr. Chair, is another good example. I think that there are times when it makes sense to name a park something different. But I think in all of these cases, I don't see a particular meaningful reason to go with these names as opposed to some of the names after people from Roseville's history that were submitted.
Any other comments? I mean, this is an action item, so.
So if I can provide some clarification. So the council, I apologize, the commission now has the ability to consider each of the recommended names for each park. And if you decide to do that, to consider that, I would just suggest taking it park by park just to make it easier for you. The other option is if you all cannot come to a consensus on a recommendation per each park, The commission also has the ability to essentially trail this item to the next meeting or continue it to the next meeting for additional input or whatnot if the commission can't come to a consensus for each park tonight. So you guys have two options.
Okay, what's the commission's pleasure? Do we want to take a stab at naming each park by park, or do we want to continue the item to the next meeting?
I'd recommend to push it to the next meeting.
I'm ready to go, but I won't throw a huge, I'm okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So I know you said we have two options. So could we, if we could decide, which I don't know if we are, could we choose a handful of names, whatever that number is, and say, here's for whichever one then that city council decides, but here's what we would recommend in addition to those?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You don't all have to agree on those names right now, but it would be helpful for staff to at least have a universe of names in addition to the ones that were recommended on which you would like to consider or discuss at the next meeting.
What's the pleasure of the commission?
Would that be any easier if we, Jeff, I wasn't sure if you said you liked Monument Park or not?
No, I would prefer,
Something else?
I would prefer to reject all four of the neighborhood park names, would be how I would vote right now.
And just submit one for each park?
I'm happy to have that discussion today if the commission is, but I understand if we want to table that and not everybody feels ready to go right now.
We want
I
to
would be
table it?
ready to go.
Same.
Ready to go? Okay. All right, well, let's do this. Let's look at an alternative name for FD 50 Interstellar Park. Any suggestions?
Would you like to see the map back up on the screen of where the parks are
please.
located? If we could pull that slide back up, please.
So that'd be slide 3.
And one easy one, and let me see if there's a consensus of the commission to use the Art Center as a sponsorship item.
I had a question on if that had been explored. I don't want to direct staff to do something that's already been done.
I think it's a great idea.
It has not been explored. We'd be happy to explore it.
Okay, all right. So that's an easy one, we'll explore that, right?
Yes.
Okay, we have a consensus on that.
I would recommend taking a motion on that instead of just a consensus.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion with regard to exploring the idea of a sponsorship opportunity for the Children's Art Center?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Can I,
This is some discussion under the motion.
okay. Would it be helpful to staff to maybe amend the motion to say, just because no one seems to have an issue with that name, and if nothing is coming of it, we are okay with this name?
Yes, that's fine. So perhaps we can clarify the motion.
We want to amend your motion?
Yeah. Exactly what he said. I think it would be, if we couldn't find a sponsorship opportunity for it, I think we'd go with that name. Motion.
Amend the second? Okay. So we have a motion, a second. Is there any discussion under the motion? Yes.
Could we assign maybe a time frame to the, like if we don't find a naming rights sponsor over X period of time, then we would defer to this name?
What would,
What's reasonable?
What's the date of completion of the renovations for that?
This winter.
This winter? Okay.
So 3 months?
3 months?
Is it too long?
We can do 3 months. Would that work?
3 months?
Can I ask what the price is for sponsorship?
We have not priced this facility,
Okay.
so we'll need to get to work on that.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second, and we put a time date on that of 3 months. Any other comments under this motion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. All right, let's go back to each park here. Let's go back to FD 50.
Can I pause, Mr. Chair? I just want to confirm. Sandra, did you vote on that?
I'm okay with the with exploring in January, as long as the staff feels like that's a good amount of time with the holidays and everything. I wouldn't want to throw, a whole new sponsorship that you have to seek out. So if it's reasonable for staff, then I'm okay with that. for
Okay,
that-
I
for
just
that
wanted to
one.
confirm because I wasn't sure I heard an aye from you. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
And then just clarification, if we've not been successful in that timeframe, you are supportive of the
Yes.
name as presented?
Yes. Okay, let's take a look at FD 50. It's in the, I believe it's in the Sierra Vista specific plan. Interstellar, the current recommendation is Interstellar Park. Are there any other recommendations for this park? From the council, from the commission?
I have a question. Is there a way for us to know or learn more about each of the people recommended or submitted?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that were submitted that I don't know anything about. So is there a way for us to learn more about what they've done for the city of Roseville?
The sheets were in the agenda that was sent out to us via email. So all of the
All the
papers
nomination
with everybody's
forms were forwarded
recommendations
to
were
you.
in there, so that it describes what the people did and why people were recommending them.
Commissioners, I think what we, again, may want to consider, hearing that comment, is we dealt with the Children's Art Center, but perhaps we can continue these renames to the next meeting. Because it gives us all some thought about some good recommendations. And again, there's a lot of people on this list that I knew personally, or still know personally. But it gives us some time to, work through the process, because, again, with 50 names, that's it's hard to do in the time allotted tonight. So I'd entertain a motion to continue the naming of FD 50, JM 51, JM 52, and CO 61 to the next hearing, to the next meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion under the motion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. All right. Next item on the agenda is item 5.3, the recreational facilities. We're going to get a summary, an overview of both Mahaney Fitness Center and the Maidu Community Center.
Thank you, Commissioners, for having us here tonight. My name is Madeline Jones, and I'm a recreation coordinator that oversees the Mahaney Fitness Center, one of the facilities we're going to be speaking to you about tonight. And with me tonight is...
Hello, my name is Will Neville. I'm the recreation supervisor over the facilities and events team. John was feeling under the weather today, so he asked me to step in. Thank you for having us tonight.
We'd like to begin by giving you an overview of our two recreation facilities. Fitness Center is primarily a membership-based facility. Members enjoy our fitness room, basketball gym, and variety of group fitness classes, but we are much more than just a gym. Throughout the year, we host rentals in the gymnasium, meeting rooms, and courtyard. Some of our rentals include corporate trainings and events, crab feeds, baby showers, and futsal matches. During the summer months, the facility is very busy with our day camps and specialty camps. Last year, we expanded our senior programming called the Fab Club to the Mahaney Fitness Center, which has been a great success. And finally, we schedule times for volleyball, pickleball, and basketball each week for people who want to drop in and play a game.
And then the Maidu Community Center is a hub for all sorts of meetings, social events, and more. If you need a space for people to gather, we're there to provide it. In addition to our facility rentals, the Maidu Community Center also provides some fitness class offerings and is the home base of our Fab or 50 and Better Club, which provides a place for our fabulous residents to connect with one another, enjoy games and trips, and attend special educational seminars just for them.
Providing exceptional experiences is a guiding force in what we do in PRL. At the Mahaney Fitness Center, we add new fitness equipment each year to ensure that we remain cutting edge and can support everyone's fitness goals. We pride ourselves on the variety and quality of our fitness classes, which is all thanks to the incredible instructors. From cycle to yoga to HIIT cardio, the instructors are professional, welcoming, and always energized. We have several instructors that have worked for us since the facility opened in 2000. And a comment that I frequently hear from members and patrons in our facility is how friendly and helpful the staff are. We have a strong team of part-time and full-time staff that make everything happen.
And at MyDo, we provide flexible rental hours at very competitive rates. Every renter's needs are met thanks to the efforts to modernize our spaces and, of course, our top quality staff.
We've had some great successes in the last year at Mahaney. Our memberships are at an all-time high. We currently have 1,553 active memberships. And next week, we'll be celebrating the opening of our facility 25 years ago. So we are featuring a membership appreciation wall, free giveaways, a raffle, and discounted memberships in celebration.
And some of the successes of the past year at MyDo include hosting events such as Protect, which served over 500 seniors. The Salvation Army gave out 350 meals. An ARP shred truck saw about 150 plus vehicles, and 95 seniors received legal and or tech-related assistance. We also host the Holiday Craft Fair, where over 100 craft vendors set up booths, and thousands came out to the event last year to find that special something, and we're glad to be able to host it again this year. Additionally, rental numbers are at an all-time high. We had about 710 rentals last fiscal year, or 2 fiscal years ago, and 742 rentals in fiscal year 25. And July and August have already outperformed last year's numbers, so we're on track to beat that.
With both facilities, we've also seen success with recruiting and hiring high-quality staff. In the past year, we have brought on 12 new part-time customer service specialists between both facilities. This allows us to better serve the community as we see an increase in use and demand of our facilities. To also help with the increased use, we've streamlined processes and experiences for both our customers and staff to be more efficient and consistent. A couple examples include establishing quarterly trainings with all facility part-time staff and moving to online surveys for customer feedback. While we love to celebrate our successes, we also see some challenges ahead of us.
So increased usage through memberships and rentals means we have more memberships being sold, more rentals being booked, more front desk inquiries, more membership and rental questions, and more phone calls. To put it plainly, we are just plain busier. Additionally, our facilities are aging. As we mentioned, the Mahaney Fitness Center opened up 25 years ago, and the MyDo Community Center actually opened up 35 years ago. This means that we're needing more repairs and replacements for furniture, equipment, infrastructure, and more. On top of all this, space is at a premium. With how long the facilities have been operating and the continued increase in our service levels, we've accumulated a lot of supplies and equipment. Our facilities are used for recreation programs, classes, rentals, events, so on and so forth, and each of those requires supplies and equipment to be stored on site in a lot of cases. But we do plan to meet these challenges and would like to share with you some of the exciting things we've got coming soon.
We have been and will continue to invest in exciting facility upgrades at both sites. We recently completed work on a new roof for the MyDo Community Center to help cool the building more efficiently and save on energy costs, along with aesthetically matching the MyDo Library. Another project we are excited to get started on at the MyDo Community Center is the construction of a new exterior storage room, which will hopefully help with the storage challenge we previously mentioned. At the Mahaney Fitness Center, we will be getting a new gymnasium divider curtain, which allows the gymnasium to be split in half and used for different programs or rentals concurrently. Additionally, we'll be adding a new stair climber and leg extension machine to our fitness room to meet increased demand. We hope these new additions will elevate the workouts of our members.
And finally, we're excited to host even more events at our facilities, such as Breakfast with the Bunny, Grinchmas, the Holiday Craft Fair, Sensory Santa, Milk and Cookies with Santa, and much more, making use of our spaces. With all of this happening at our facilities, we're very excited to continue to serve the Roseville community and look forward to seeing them have exceptional experiences. Are there any questions we can answer at this time?
Commissioners, do you have any questions? Jeff.
I have a couple of questions. with the Mahaney Fitness Center, based on the picture, I might understand that we're celebrating the fitness center with bagel spread?
That was, I think, a breakfast with the bunny.
Breakfast with the bunny.
Gotcha, okay, just checking.
No bagels.
A little more seriously, what are the types of rentals? You say you're looking at being able to split the gym so that you could have multiple events happening at once. So are we seeing demand for big events or more like those medium-sized events that can't be held at, a restaurant or something?
I think it's a variety, but typically we have our gymnasium open every day. So when we open the doors, the gymnasium's open. So when we have requests for someone to do a small meeting or maybe have a futsal training in the gym, we would prefer to not have to close down the whole gymnasium if it's a smaller group. So that helps us keep the gym open to our members. And we have a lot of members that come in every day at 6 o'clock and they have all their friends and they play their basketball game. So we're trying to balance how we keep the gymnasium available for our members to play the sports that they count on playing there with the rentals that we want to try to accommodate there.
Appreciate that. That makes a lot of sense. I like that creativity.
Commissioner Hernandez.
Out of curiosity, do you have another type of sound system? I was privileged. I used to be an adventure club teacher years ago, and I was privileged enough to speak last weekend at Mahaney in the gym, and there was a partition that made the gym a little bit smaller. But having said that, the microphone that I was supposed to use, it's Wi-Fi based or Bluetooth based, I'm sorry. And so I had to be, I was supposed to be against the wall in order for people to hear, which I couldn't just because of how the room was set up. So I'm a loudspeaker, but in general, is there another type of mic system you have in that room just so people don't have to stay against the wall to connect?
I don't think we do at this time, but that's definitely great feedback that we can take into consideration.
Just thought I'd help.
No, I appreciate that.
Any other comments from the commission? I have one question. What are we doing with the Maidu batting cages?
That is a question for Tara.
I live on that side of town. I ride my bike there. I never see them being used. Is there a plan for those?
We currently don't have a plan for those, except for everyone's desire that they need to become something else.
Yeah.
But right now, we don't have the funding or a plan to convert them into anything else. I would see that happening in the next few years, but I don't have a plan to share with you at this time.
All right. I just wanted to bring it up. Love to see a pool there. That's a big wish list, but anyway.
Can I chime in? Why are they not functioning? People don't use them, or?
Both, and they actually haven't functioned for many years, and when we would get them fixed, they would break again, and they just were non-functional more than they were functional. And then the lack of use made us say we probably should use that space for something else.
Any other questions? Any other comments? All right. Let's move on to item number 6, staff and commissioner reports.
Commissioners, yes, I'll start with, again, a sincere thank you for your consideration and conversation about the park names tonight. I know that's always a difficult topic, and we have heard you, and we'll go back and bring some other options forward at next month's meeting as well. So thank you for that direction. Beyond that topic, it was a terrific National Recreation and Parks Conference in Orlando this past month, and although we didn't bring home the gold medal grand plaque, very sorry about that, we were recognized as a finalist for the 4th year in a row, both at a gold medal gala that was held for all of the attendees and the finalists, as well as during the keynote reception with more than 8,000 attendees. So we had someone from Montgomery County, Maryland come up to us and said, "Oh, you're from Roseville. Everyone knows Roseville." And I think that's in part because they see our name up there every year. As much as we'd like to win, they see our name up there every year. So we were very proud of that. At the conference, staff also attended a lot of great educational sessions, which is really the real reason that we go. It's a great way to network with our colleagues from all around the country, hear topics from national experts on a variety of park and recreation items. So the convention did not disappoint from that regard this year either. But the highlight might have been our attendance at a hearing in front of the National Accreditation Board. So the gentleman who served as our lead visitor for the visit back in April, some of you met him. His name was Joe DeLuce from Champaign, Illinois. He spoke to the Accreditation Board on our behalf, and he absolutely praised Roseville Parks, Recreation, and Libraries, as well as the city of Roseville. And then the board asked staff several questions about our practices and why we should be accredited, and then they unanimously and enthusiastically approved our accreditation. So we don't have a little trophy for that yet, and that really is all you get, is a little acrylic trophy, but we are very, very proud. We're the 219th agency out of more than 12,000 nationwide agencies to be accredited. So to help celebrate this, we're proud to present you with this challenge coin that commemorates this amazing milestone. And I must tell you that these will be collector's items because they do have the date of 2025 on them, which will forever be the first year that PRL became accredited. So we couldn't have done it without your support, the support of our council and our community. So thank you very much for that. You're aware that these chambers will be under construction beginning on October 20th, and our Parks and Rec Commission meetings for the next several months will be in the conference rooms in the Civic Center, which you will enter. If you were going into the main rotunda of the Civic Center, they're the doors to the right of those. So it's not the main conference doors. We'll have them propped open. You'll see us next month, but we will be meeting in there for the next several months. The meetings in there will not be broadcast and will not be televised because we don't have those capabilities there. But they will be open to the public, and we'll be recording the minutes. Our council meetings for those next few months will be at the Electric Building across the street at 116 South Grant in a room that does have capabilities for broadcasting. So those meetings will continue to be broadcast and open to the public as well. I do want to recognize our own Commissioner Kevin Hernandez for receiving the Sylvia Bassana Volunteer Award at last week's council meeting. So congratulations, Kevin. You do us proud. And lastly, the Commission Appreciation Dinner is this Wednesday, October 8th at Goldfields. So I hope to see you all there. If you have any questions about times, festivities, feel free to reach out to me tomorrow. That's all I have.
I would just like to say congratulations, well-deserved, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of this commission. And we may not have been gold this year, maybe next year.
Always next year.
But to get accredited is a huge honor, and I'm so honored to be a part of that. So thank you.
You know, just to finish, I don't want to re-dredge up the park naming, but just an idea I had, and I want to ask the city attorney if it's appropriate. Perhaps maybe two commissioners can join the park naming subcommittee and provide some input that would be helpful. Are we in any Brown Act violations?
Well, the selection or the process for selecting the committee members is already established. So if anything, it would just fall on staff to, if they wanted to revamp that process.
It's up to staff, but I think it might be a good suggestion to perhaps have two commissioners. Because Tara, I remember in the past, there was always, on the park naming committee, there was always a member of the commission that provided input, so.
Yeah, there were 3, and then that was a Brown Act violation.
Yeah.
So that's what
That's why I
prompted
said
the
2.
change. Yeah.
And it is a council-approved process, so again, we can, if there is desire to change it, we can always take a
Well,
recommendation
I don't
the
want to do
council.
that. I thought it would be, as staff went in to try and tackle this naming process, I thought it'd be helpful for two commissioners to provide input as well. But if it requires an action of the council, then we'll just have to move on. Okay. All right. Last chance. Any comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
We'll see you in November.